say, but let's say I'm wrong. Let's say the Eagles struggle with inconsistency again, or Carson Wentz, after being healthy all year until the playoff game, obviously, that he suffers another injury, and the Cowboys are the best team in the division. What have they done? And I understand the season just ended, so you can't make any major moves, but they're not going to be able to make any. Their major moves are going to be retaining their own players. Once they have cap dollars, but those cap dollars are going to be allocated to Dak, potentially to Amari, try to keep those players in-house, maybe Byron Jones, or maybe he goes elsewhere. What do we think they can do to jump not one level, not two levels, but three levels? They got to jump one level to get with Philly. They got to jump another level to get with Seattle. They got to jump another level to get with Green Bay, San Francisco, the two teams right now that were the best in the conference all year, have played like it in the playoffs, and appear to be, honestly, the true crown jewels of the conference moving forward. You don't look at Green Bay and say, if they don't win it this year, they're about to fall off a cliff. And you certainly don't look at San Francisco and say, this is their one shot. Brandon, I look at the Cowboys as the same boat as the Rams in this regard. Their window to win was before they paid their quarterback. Rams paid their quarterback. They fell off. I think they're going to fall off further. The Cowboys had their window while Dak was super cheap and overachieving given his salary. No matter what they sign him to, whether it's $32, $34, or $36 million, he will underachieve compared to the salary moving forward, because I don't believe he's that level of player. And so, no, I don't think they're all of a sudden, even with the addition of Mike McCarthy, a Super Bowl contender.
Definitely. I just don't understand why Cowboys fans think every year is their Super Bowl year. And Woods, as a player, should never mention going to the Super Bowl. He doesn't know what it takes. Nobody on the Cowboys roster really knows what it takes to make it to a Super Bowl. I played in multiple playoff games, and I still don't know what it takes to make it to a Super Bowl game. It takes a lot of experience, takes a lot of hard work, and nobody knows going through them fires in the NFC Championship game, the AFC Championship game, what it really takes to get there. And he doesn't understand. When Dak gets paid, and if they retain Amari Cooper, which they have to, because we all know Dak can't play with a #1 receiver. Just if his #1 receiver goes down, that's why Dak is not playing good. So they have to retain Amari Cooper. They have to pay Dak Prescott. So that roster is going to start to thin out. So you're going to lose a lot of key players in different positions, and you're not going to have the same talent that you have right now to even make that playoff push to beat the Packers, to beat the San Fran, to beat the Rams.
Just quickly, you mentioned a couple levels that the Cowboys have to go through. How many levels does a new head coach like Mike McCarthy get you?
Oh, I think he can jump them one.
Yeah?
I think
they can win the division next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they could win 10 games. But 10-win teams don't win the Super Bowl typically, unless you had some bad luck that led to the 10 wins, or you have a superstar quarterback that can say, jump. I think the year the Packers won the Super Bowl, it wasn't their 15-1 year. I think they were 10-6.
They were.
And they ended up having to play 3 playoff games, no bye, and they got there. Not a lot of examples of a 10-win team, and I think that's the Cowboys' ceiling, with a good but not great quarterback finding its way to the Super Bowl. And that's what they would have to do. I think, Brandon, you said something there, and I don't know if you know how profound it was. Why do Cowboys fans and players to that degree think that this super high achievement is their birthright when none of them have experienced it? When, if you're a Cowboys fan, if you're under 30 years old, you haven't experienced it.
Exactly.
Every team in the NFC has played it in played for a chance to get to the Super Bowl, played in a conference championship game since the year 2000, except for Washington, Detroit, and Dallas. Washington is always in disarray. Detroit is Detroit, and the Cowboys walk around like they're the Lakers and the Yankees. One of these things is not like the other.
Good Sesame Street reference. On to the
Good question, because it's not just that they had gone 16 straight years with at least one of them in the AFC Championship game. They had gone 15 of the last 16 years with at least one of them in the Super Bowl, with the only Joe Flacco weasel his way in 1 year. But aside from that, it's been one of those 3 guys. So what you had there was unprecedented health. Brady missed 1 year. Peyton missed 1 year. Aside from that, those guys were never injured. And Big Ben, while often dinged until this year, never a significant injury. You also had, especially for Brady and for Ben, great organizational structure around them to where they didn't have to be brilliant each and every season. So do I think these 3 guys, Patrick, Deshaun, and Lamar, are going to go on a 2-decade run like those 3 guys did? No. But do I think the next decade, the 2020s, you will have at least one of these guys in the conference championship game every year? Absolutely. Now, they have things working against them. Lamar's got to show us the ability to perform in the postseason. Deshaun will have to continue to overcome coaching. And within an organization that, by the way, Texans have never been to a single AFC championship game. The glass ceiling on that franchise has been the divisional round ever since they became a franchise. But Patrick will take care of that in the meantime. Patrick Mahomes has been a starter for 2 years. They have made 2 AFC championship games. An organization that had never hosted an AFC championship game and had never been to back-to-back AFC championship games has now done it 100% of the seasons. Patrick Mahomes has been the starter. So I think he will be a stalwart on one side of the bracket. And I think Watson and Lamar, and maybe Baker Mayfield will have something to say about that if he gets his career back on track. But aside from that, Brandon, I don't see who else is en route. I don't see it that level of success coming for Sam Darnold or Josh Allen. And Phillip Rivers is done, and Brady is done, and Big Ben might very well be done. So I don't know who the other competitors would be. So I don't know if they can go on a 2-decade run the way those 3 guys did. But I think the 2020s in the AFC will be dominated by Patrick, Deshaun, and Lamar.
I think they'll go on a run, and this is why. Patrick Mahomes himself alone, he's the best quarterback in football, no matter who's in his division, with Phillip Rivers leaving. I think Denver likes lock right now. And Oakland with Derek Carr, that's going to be in Vegas. He's going to be in the middle of the pack. You know, he might make the wild card, but the Chiefs are going to win the division here for a long time. So that's why I think he can go on that run. And the thing about Lamar Jackson, why he can get deep in the postseason, is because just like Brady, I don't think his division will be really tough in the upcoming years. Pittsburgh, they're going to lose Big Ben. Do they like their backups? I think they like them, but they don't love them in Mason Rudolph. Cincinnati, they might go Burrow, they might go Tua, but you don't know who these guys are going to put as they QB1.
And it seems like it'll take even if those quarterbacks hit, Cincinnati needs a lot of help over the next few years.
Exactly. And Lamar, I think his only challenge going forward once Big Ben leaves is going to be Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns. And that's if Baker Mayfield plays great. And at the end of the day, it's still the Cleveland Browns. So you can't just crown these guys. Baltimore's been to the playoffs. They're consistent. They have a consistent head coach. Yep. So that's why I think Lamar can go on that run. And Deshaun Watson, you know, in his division, you have Jacksonville right now, who I don't think is going to compete. You know, the Colts can with Jacoby Brissett. You want to see where they'll go because the Texans are not just a guaranteed sure lock.
The Texans, though, to your point, you were saying this for the show, they're the only team in that division who knows who their quarterback is. The Jags don't know. The Colts, Jacoby, I think they're a little ambivalent on him. And the Titans, Tannehill's a pending free agent and had just had a career season. The Texans know it's going to be Deshaun for the next decade. No one else in that division knows that.
But if the question is how far can they go? Can they make a run like the 3 guys before them? When you look at these 3 guys, plus maybe a Josh Allen, these are mobile quarterbacks. These are dual threat quarterbacks. These are guys that expose themselves because they're out of the pocket. Doesn't that in and of itself mean it's going to be a shorter professional shelf life for them, that you're not going to see him 15, 16, 17 years in the league?
I just think the game is changing. Once these guys learn to slide, I'm a big fan of Russell Wilson because he scrambles and he slides, so you don't worry about his safety. I think the league in 7 years to 10 years, everybody's going to have a mobile quarterback. They're going to feel like right now, like pocket quarterbacks would not sustain with the pass rushers in this league, how fast, how defensive coordinators just send crazy blitzes from everywhere. I don't think pocket quarterbacks would be the end in the NFL, so everyone would have a running quarterback.
And I think we're already seeing it. And by the way, so I think for Lamar, there is a real question about how long the shelf life is because so much of his success is based on his athleticism. Now, he has improved massively as a passer, but he is similar to use, we were just doing NBA highlights, a great NBA leaper. You are concerned, what will that game age like? Unlike a jump shooter, you say the game is going to age fine. Deshaun and Patrick Mahomes have escapability and have mobility, but they are throwers first. Patrick, if he never ran the football, would be the best quarterback in football. If he had no mobility whatsoever, he'd be the best quarterback in football. Deshaun, if he never rushed for a first down, just rushed to escape the blitz, he would still be a top 8 quarterback in this league. Now, I don't know that they will have 15 to 20 years the way Tom Brady did, but Peyton didn't even have 20 years.